Hey guys, hey, welcome back to Truth, Trust, and Trajectory with your girl, she can be. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with Miss Crystal Robinson. She's a dedicated wellness advocate, holistic healer, and the founder of Crystal Moon Holistic Healing. Crystal is a national board certified health and wellness coach, a Chopra certified total well being coach with a focus on meditation, purpose, and limiting beliefs, and also exploring our shadows. She's also a specialist in whole health holistic nutrition. She not only is a guide, but a catalyst in her own right, having transformed a personal challenge into powerful insights. And now that light is a way for others to help their self healing journey. Her approach, which she calls Wellness Simplified, centers on nurturing the mind, body, and spirit in harmony. Through her transformational coaching, Crystal helps others reclaim their self worth and inner peace by providing compassionate guidance for spiritual growth, clarity, and balance. Crystal's unique blend of wisdom and warmth will inspire anyone already ready to embrace self accountability, self love, and the inner work required to create a life of alignment and empowerment. So if this sounds even remotely interesting, which I'm excited, I don't know about you guys, but please keep watching. All right. Hey, Crystal.
Hello.
How are
Nice
you
to meet
today?
you.
So do you want to just introduce yourself to the audience?
Hi, my name is Crystal Robinson. I'm a transformational coach. I help people live happier, healthier, and more fulfilled lives with coaching for the mind, the body, and the spirit, and how they all connect together to help you live a beautiful life.
I love that. So I'll just jump right into it. How does your journey in holistic health and wellness begin, and what was the catalyst that set you on this path?
So basically, it was my own catalysts that happened with my health that repeatedly over and over kept sending me to doctors, kept sending me for medications, for trying to find out and diagnose what was going on. And nobody could figure it out. It was, oh, it might be this. Oh, it might be that. Oh, take this. Oh, take that. And I kind of went through that gamut for many, many years and didn't even realize that there was a root to it. And that the way that society works today and the medical system works today, they don't look for roots. They just deal with symptoms. They just fix symptoms. And when I got to my rock bottom, basically ended up in the hospital for a week and on a heart monitor and all kinds of crazy stuff, all from an anaphylactic reaction to food. I really ended up kind of in a very dark place, almost like a nervous breakdown, on even more medications just so that I could like function and breathe. And it got to the point where all of those medications were just making me like a shell of myself. I was just there. I was stagnant. I wasn't me. I wasn't living. I was just kind of a doll almost, just kind of going through the motions. And I really realized that I wasn't living my life. I was living the life I needed to that other people expected me to.
Mm,
And then when I started really jumping into holistically looking at my health, looking at what was important to me, the things that lifted me up, really looking at like my mindset, my spirituality, and what was really going on with my body, that I realized that I needed to balance what Western medicine offers and all of the other different healing modalities that are out there, including
mm.
just finding your joy. And that
So
just kinda continued for many years, and I just kept building, and kept building, and getting to the point where I had lupus and was diagnosed with lupus, and that went through multiple years of symptoms and despair and medications, and to me figuring out how to solve that, to a brain tumor and figuring out how to solve that after surgery.
wow. So were you able to, when you said you solved it, so we know what that means. Non-disclaimer, well, we're not giving medical advice or anything like that, YouTube. But I mean I can assume it's safe to assume, correct? with that?
Yeah, they will say I have lupus for the rest of my life,
Mm,
once they diagnose it.
yeah.
Um, I feel like all autoimmune diseases
Mm,
are always in our body, and based on the research that I've done, the genetic markers are there.
yeah.
You always have some form of an autoimmune condition connected with your body based on your genetics. We have celiac disease connected in my mother's side of the family,
Mm,
and that is marked in all of us women.
mm,
And when you have a trauma of some sort or multiple traumas, it brings out these things in your body because you
right.
suppress all your emotions, you don't live authentically, live a different life. You're not
Yeah.
living your life and your body is trying to tell you something by this coming out. And doctors will tell you autoimmune conditions are your body attacking itself. Your body is not set up to attack itself. It's set up
Mm.
to heal itself.
So,
So, I've
mm,
healed my lupus.
mm,
Could it come back? Could I have more traumas that will make it come back? That's actually what induces flares, is traumas.
mm,
But I have been lupus free for 4 years, and I have had traumas in those 4 years.
mm,
But I also know to listen to my body.
gotcha. So basically, with the disease or you know what I mean?
Autoimmune
Um,
conditions, yeah.
yeah, it's your holistic approach. Is it safe to say like the holistic approach pretty much deals with like the whole? It encompasses everything because the mind is a part of the body as well. So like it's the way that we
Yes,
um
specifically. Because I did all the nutrition things first. I did, the exercise and all the things they tell you to do. I was, eating very, very clean. I was working out all the time. I was dancing and working with a trainer. All the physical things they tell you to do, like what you put in, that doesn't include like what you surround yourself with, what you let in from the outside into your brain, into your spirit, and how you deal with all the emotions
yeah,
and all your own stuff that just like
yeah,
builds up over years, right? We get stuff
mhm,
from childhood that we just shove down. We just don't want to think about it. We don't want to talk about it. Things come up all the time. And this is how I know that this is how it works, is because now, if my hand starts to bother me, if my joints start to go, could we be having a lupus flare? No, it is my body yelling at me.
yeah,
What did you do in the past 24 hours?
mhm,
What conversation did you have? Who did you meet?
mm,
What were you
yeah,
around? What are you not processing? What decision are you not making? What are you holding back on?
mm,
And when I do that, when I actually listen to my body and go back and think about the last 24 hours or 48, depending on, what I feel, oh, I got a headache, what's going on? I realize, oh yeah, I had this encounter at work, or I had this encounter with a family member, or I saw this and it reminded me of this trauma that I had.
mm,
And I'm just pushing it away and I'm not thinking about it and I'm not feeling that emotion and letting it run its course in my body.
yeah,
Your mind is a crazy thing. It's beautiful, amazing, and awful at the same time.
oh,
It
yeah,
just wants you to be comfortable. And
exactly.
the most comfortable thing is to not deal with it.
Mhm. Yeah, it's definitely easy easy for a lot of people, I believe, to kind of like put a lot of that mental stuff to the side because it doesn't really fit in with the narrative of a fight or flight. You know what I mean? When you're just on go, it's like, all right, I can't worry about that right now.
Yeah. Yeah,
you know.
exactly.
So, what does wellness simplified mean to you, and how does it shape your approach to coaching?
Everybody wants to jump into the quick fix,
Mhm,
right? When it comes to diet, when it comes to changing things, they don't want to actually go through a process to fix things, right? That's why
mhm,
people want to take diet pills or they want to, have, oh, this is the amazing thing that's going to fix this. Everybody wants that quick fix. And it really isn't about that because that's not going to sustain. You can't keep that. So, wellness simplified is okay, what works for you? What has worked for you in the past? When have you been happy? When have you been healthy? What resources and creativity do you abide into yourself that we can tap into to make the process simple for you? It only takes one thing to start to change. Just being grateful for what you see every day
Mm.
starts to change your mindset. Maybe changing one food item that you buy and exchanging it for something else. It's very simple when you take it one step at a time and you don't take a whole program and just throw it on you, because nobody wants to sustain that. It's maybe a day, maybe a week if you're lucky. Maybe the diehards will get through a month, but then what are you
Mm.
going to do after that? You're not going to keep up with whatever it is that you need to be
Mm.
healthy, happy, and fulfilled.
Exactly. Um, and that also comes in with like I would imagine it would cause like more mental chaos because it's like overwhelming to have to make implement all of these changes, in one sitting. So I definitely do understand what you're saying as far as like, is it logical and can you sustain it, for an extended
Mhm.
period of time?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Because, everybody wants to take the quick pill, fix the
Mhm.
problem. Well, I can fix diabetes by taking this pill, or I can fix my high blood pressure by taking this. But
Mhm.
have you ever thought of changing what it is that you do every day, changing what it is that you put in your body every day? And a lot of them will tell, well, you have to change your lifestyle. And just the thought of the word change
Yeah,
is scary.
yeah.
That means I can't have what I want or do what I want or live the life that I'm living. But that's not true. You can. You just do it one step at a time and you find the changes that work for you.
Mhm.
Just because, you know, this one person goes to the gym every day and eats, a whole food diet or whatever it is that he picks and that works for him doesn't mean it's going to work for you.
Mhm. Yeah, because ultimately everyone is very much they're the same but different. And it makes me think of when you talked about the genetic markers, everybody has them. It's what you go through that activates those markers, like, you know what I mean? Ultimately. How does transformational coaching support someone on their healing journey?
So the way that describe that is I have people come to me for all different reasons,
Mhm.
right? I call myself a transformational coach because I help people transform their lives from one
Mhm.
thing to the next. Some people could come to me because they want to change their lifestyle for nutrition or they want to get off medications. Other people come to me because they want to expand their mediumship and their spirituality
Mhm.
or a little more on the woo.
Mhm.
So I'm everywhere from the science to the woo and everything in between. I help people with their limiting beliefs, figuring out the shadow works. But ultimately, when it comes down to it, every person that I see, no matter why they come and see me, it all comes back to relationships and ultimately the relationship with themselves.
Mhm. I can definitely get that. So, can you share your insights on how self-worth impacts a person's healing?
If you don't feel yourself worthy, if you don't love what it is that you are
Mhm.
and all the potential that you have, you're not gonna do anything to change it,
Mhm.
right? If you love being in, like, the doldrums or the stagnancy or the victim mentality, which is where I felt that I ended up living, "Oh, I have
Mhm.
this disease for the rest of my life, and I am always gonna be in pain, and I'm always gonna be on meds," and all these things.
Mhm.
I lived there for a while. I was
Right.
miserable. It didn't make anything better, it made everything worse. It just exponentially got worse. I just
Mhm.
took more meds, and I was in more pain, and I had swelling, and I had all these things going on, and it wasn't until I started changing my thoughts and how I reacted to my thoughts that things got better,
Mhm.
and everything started changing from there. It
Mhm.
really is whether or not you feel that you're worthy, that you know that you are worthy. It's tapping into your inner strengths and resiliency and creativity. Nobody can tell you what to do. It's inside of you, what you need for you. I tell people that, your DNA is a perfect strand that is uniquely you.
Mhm.
even if you're a twin, right? You still have individual DNA strands that are different. So your
Exactly.
healing journey, no matter what it is you're working on, whether it's trauma or medical or just, mindset or working on your business or just changing your life around, it's going to be uniquely you and
Mhm.
what works to make that change happen for you.
So, can you talk about like some of the tools you would like employ maybe like someone that's trying to figure out like their self-worth and maybe like can't figure out a way to lower down the inner chatter?
So, one of the things that I help my clients with is really looking at what their resources and their creativity is. Like looking back at when was the last time I was happy? Why was I happy? What was I doing?
Mhm.
How did I feel? Right. And then visualizing if I could take that feeling and have it tomorrow or the next day and the next day, what does that look like? How do I know I'm feeling that? And that tool of the visualization, and a lot of people call it manifesting or whatever they want to give it, that's what is uniquely you. That
Yeah.
helps you see what it is you see. And as we go through the process, there's numerous tools working with shadow, working with um, your limiting beliefs, figuring out what your core values are, really kind of working through those things that are important to you so that you know what's dragging you down or what's no longer serving you. Things that
Mhm.
maybe have been put on your life because you've been conditioned that way, or that people have told you and those people were important to you, so you just listen to them, not necessarily question it.
Yeah.
So it's really about questioning everything. I
Mhm.
have lots of tools that help people with anxiety, lots of tools of figuring out what kind of foods you like, electromagnetic muscle testing. I can teach people how
Mm.
to do that and tune into their own bodies, somatic processing of emotions, like to really actually flush them through and process them all the way so you're not shoving them under a rug.
Yeah. And I love that the one where you were talking about, in order for people to process their feelings because, personally, and I think we briefly talked about this when we first talked, but like, in certain cultures, it's really highly frowned upon, for any emotion to be expressed. So I think a lot of people grow up from childhood into adults never really truly understanding their feelings or
Mm.
like even getting into depth about them. You know what I mean? Like they might have like the surface level understanding about, okay, I'm mad, but then it's like, why are you mad? And
Right.
yeah.
And a lot of those, those emotions, once you start processing them, they change, right?
Mhm.
They
Yeah.
start off as angry, but ultimately they probably run into sadness.
Yeah.
And it's really like, what is the emotion and what's triggering it and what's around it? And why do I feel that way? And that emotion is a protection,
Yeah.
right? And we grow up in with all of those emotions suppressed. Oh, I remember as a kid, why are you crying? I don't want to see you crying. I'll give you something to cry about, right? Like,
Yeah.
like there's so many things that like and that's just like generational, right? It just
Oh
comes
yeah.
down from your great grandparents to your grandparents, like
Mhm.
all the way down the line. And it's just like, and it's funny, you find like I found myself saying some things my parents said with my
Yeah.
kids. And I was like,
Yeah.
whoa, wait a minute, no.
Like,
Don't say
what are we doing here? Yeah.
that. But I also notice it as a woman working in a male dominated culture
Mm,
and
yeah.
career. Because I was an engineer, been an engineer for over 30 years. And I've been surrounded by men. And if I was strong and fierce
Mm,
or, even showing emotion of any type,
mm.
oh, it's just a woman. Oh, she's a bitch. It was just like there was
Yeah. Yeah.
always things connected to it that
Yeah.
would make you change how you reacted.
Mhm.
Now, yes, there's one way that you should be reacting in a professional environment.
Oh, for
And
sure.
if you don't know how to regulate your emotions, that can
Mhm.
be problematic. But also, it is a social thing that becomes projected on you.
Mhm.
That if you are strong and you're a woman, you're automatically a bitch. But if a man did
Right.
the same thing, Oh, that's
It's
the
not.
powerful boss.
Yeah, exactly. Which is totally unfair because I think fundamentally it teaches women, that they have to remain in this box.
Mhm.
And you have to be very, it's like you're walking on eggshells, all the way around, because it's like, hey, if I'm too emotional, then I'm unhinged. It's just
Right.
like, how would you like me to be here?
I remember somebody telling me, and I think it was my boss at the time, and I wasn't too fond of it, but I remember after I had my kids
Mhm.
saying, "Oh, you're so much of a better boss now that you've had kids and you're more nurturing."
Oh,
I was like, "So that means that in order to be a good boss, you need to be a mother if
right.
you're a woman?" Things that are said that you're just like, "Well, that doesn't make
Yeah,
any
it,
sense." Right?
stereotypical, and really they're very biased because that's reflective of someone else's programming, and it really has nothing to do with us,
Right.
for anybody really, and everything
No.
to do with the other person. So
Yeah, and we take on those things that are said to us
exactly.
or
Hmm.
around us,
Hmm.
and we tend to adopt them. That's what
Yeah,
becomes limiting beliefs.
yeah, exactly. All of that's stacked on.
Yeah,
It-
yeah. And until you start really going, well, is this 100% true for
mm,
me?
mm,
Or is it just what they said or he said?
exactly,
You
exactly.
know, it's
It's
it's ultimately what you need for you.
mhm.
And you have to just take everything everybody says with a grain of salt because it's all about their experiences and their lives, not
Oh yeah,
yours. They're not living your life.
exactly.
They don't know all the circumstances around whatever you just said or why you said it. They
Hmm.
just know theirs.
Exactly. Exactly. um, So, what role does meditation and self reflection play in uncovering purpose and overcoming unlimited beliefs?
So this comes back to being with self, right? Coming into yourself
Mhm.
and understanding your higher self, people call it, or your inner self. If you can't sit with yourself quietly because of all the thoughts and all the demons or whatever comes up, and you're just like, nope, I got to go do something, I got to go do something,
Mhm.
you got a lot of stuff to process,
Oh, yeah.
right? Because you can't even connect with your body and your mind in a purposeful way.
Mhm.
It's super important to be able to do that. Meditation is really hard for people who have never done it before.
Mhm.
And that's why I recommend to anybody who's interested in really starting to connect with yourself, with your inner self, with your spirit, with your mind, with your body, to learn how to meditate. And
Mhm.
for some people, it's prayer. For some people, it's walking in quiet, right? No earbuds, no music, just
Mhm.
walking in nature. For others, it's sitting quietly and maybe listening to a guided meditation
Mhm.
or listening to very solemn or relaxed frequencies so that you can let your body regulate. It's all about the nervous system. Most of us
Sure.
live in fight or flight 24/7. And if
Yep.
you can't teach your nervous system to regulate, you're constantly high levels of cortisol and then low levels of cortisol, high
Mhm.
levels of other hormones, low levels of other hormones. And that dysregulates your whole body,
Sure.
which sends you into disease, which becomes disease. So, learning how to process your emotions, regulate your nervous system, and be with yourself, you will learn so much about yourself and what's really important to help you move forward in your own purpose.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Meditation, it was something I struggled with for a very long time, and my mom used to always be like, "You need to meditate." I'm like, I do, like 2 seconds, 2 seconds, that's it. But the more you practice it, the easier it becomes, and then so kind of like, and it also I feel like it heightens your discernment for maybe something that might not be as beneficial or good for in general.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It, it's known to help everything when it comes to your body and your mind.
Yes.
There is so many scientific studies of how powerful meditation can be.
Mm.
And what some people just don't even realize is it doesn't have to be done a certain way. There's no rules to it.
Oh
It
yeah.
really is just how you can regulate your nervous system and get yourself into your subconscious mind
Exactly.
and all the
It's just like
powers that
brushing
are
teeth. Yeah. 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 What advice would you offer to anybody that's just beginning their journey towards self-healing and empowerment?
there. Get a coach.
She said, "Get a coach." Yeah.
Get a coach or a therapist. It's so for me, it was like I had a therapist, I had a coach, I read everything I could get my hands on, and I listened to like every podcast that had like numerous different healers on. I
Mhm.
didn't care what I was hearing about. I just wanted to soak up the information to see, oh, that resonates with me. I'm going to take that tidbit. Oh, that
Yeah.
resonates with me. I'm going to take that one. It may not be everything that one person tells you, but guaranteed, if you start doing the research and opening up your curiosity to what has worked for others, what other options are there for you that they'll just blossom and you'll see
Yeah.
things. Um, if you can't afford a coach, then get a therapist. Or, and if the first therapist doesn't work, find another one. Because I
Mhm.
find that that's the hardest part. Like my first therapist scared the crap out of me. And I didn't want to go back. I was like, no, this isn't for me. Nope. But I didn't know that there's so many different types out there, so many different modalities that they use. And
Mhm.
you really got to find the one that connects with you.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many free services available. You can go online and listen to guided meditations and learn how to regulate your own nervous system. I would say, what can you do, and what are you willing to do in order to heal?
Yeah.
Because it is up to you to make that decision. Like, how long are you willing to go on without it?
Exactly.
How long do you want to endure whatever it is you're enduring?
So, can you talk a little bit about the roles of spiritual growth in finding peace and how inner clarity contributes to personal healing?
That comes back to the meditation again. Like for
Mm.
me, um, that's really what blew up my mediumship out of
Right.
nowhere. The brain tumor, I think, had a lot to do with that too. I kind of went through this, massive experience, but it was always there. I was just always shoving it away
Mm.
because of what people around me thought of it. That's woo woo. Oh, you're really imaginative. She's crazy.
Mm.
Whatever. There's all of those, and really tapping into what is important to you and what you feel spiritually, whether that's God or the universe or any other deity or any other form of
Yeah.
spirituality. It's
Mhm.
not specific. You don't have to be a specific domination. You
Mhm.
could take and pick what works for you out of all of them and what resonates, and how can I find peace in
Mhm.
knowing that I am whole just the way I am right now,
Mhm.
and I'm on a journey to grow and learn every day. It's part of the human experience.
Mhm.
We're born with an imaginative mind that just wants to grow.
This is
And a
very
lot of
true.
us stunt it. Like, once we get out of school, oh, we don't need to grow and learn. We know everything we need to know.
Mhm.
Think about a high schooler. They know
Yeah.
everything,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
But I didn't do the most of my growing until I was in my 40s.
Mm.
Like, I did the massive healing and growing in my 40s
Mm.
because I was so busy with kids and raising kids and all of that to really even go into myself
Mhm.
and really figure out what it is that spiritually connects for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's literally the hustle and bustle of like every day. Like for you, I really like what you said about the catalyst, and we kind of talked about that a little bit too, as far as like for everybody has that one pivotal moment in their life where it's just like, all right, enough is enough. Like Like
Yeah.
the ability, the need to change remains stronger than the need to keep continuing with the way that things are.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah. And you'll find that there probably was other ones and you didn't
Mm,
listen,
yeah.
right? And then there's always like the good catalysts too. Like you'll notice that certain things helped you shift in a good
Mm,
way. And the bad catalysts, do they lead to bad stuff? Yeah. But did you learn and grow from it?
mhm,
Yeah. I would think like some of my worst catalysts were my biggest teachers. They
yeah.
helped me grow the most.
Mm. Yeah, I can definitely align with that, because that is very much true. The things that we in the moment that we perceive as like so traumatic, life changing, and some people even will go as far as to say, "Hey, I was just having this conversation the other day." I say, fundamentally, I can use the word, but I've never truly felt it. You know what I mean? Because
Mhm.
I know that with like as time goes on, you look back on certain situations, whatever it is, like whether it's health or relationships, and you can actually hold like a really special place for whatever it is, and just like realize like, hey, if this never happened, then it wouldn't have snowballed off into something greater. You know?
Mm. Yeah, I had a conversation with somebody earlier, another coach earlier today, and I was talking a little bit about my story and all of kind of the catalyst for me, all the things that happened,
Mhm.
and she was like, "I'm so sorry," and I said, "No, no, no, don't be sorry.
Yeah, she's like, I'm
I'm
not.
happy that
Yeah.
those happened. If
Yeah.
those didn't happen, I wouldn't be who I am, what I'm doing. I
Mhm.
would still be the bitchy engineer."
Right. Right. I love that for me. The growth. I love it for you.
Right. Yeah, it's I needed that, right? I needed
Yeah.
that to be who I am.
Mhm.
And if I didn't have those massive experiences, those, traumatic events, those places that, people call it an ego death or that puts you in a black hole or
Mhm.
whatever they want to call it,
Yeah.
those places that we end up in are made for growth.
Oh yeah, definitely for
And
sure.
if you just look at them as like, why did that happen to me? Blame, shame, you're just living in victim mentality and you're going to stay there.
Exactly. And growth is not for everyone. Everybody unfortunately doesn't want to experience that. So we'll be
Yeah, I
here
mean,
reminding you.
eventually, when your time has come,
Yeah.
the growth will
You don't have a
come.
choice. Yeah,
And they do
exactly.
say that, when they talk to people on their deathbed, like, what do they regret? Right? They regret doing the things, having
Mhm.
the moments, seeing other people, having the conversations. They don't regret that they didn't make $1 million. They don't regret that they didn't have this car. They don't regret that they didn't live in this place or with this house. Like the regrets are the connection pieces.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can't get the connection pieces if you're living in victim mentality.
Exactly. I love that. That is so very true. So, I know you got some other stuff going on, so I'm gonna wrap this up. But I just wanted to extend the opportunity for any of the audience that are looking to book you or to connect with you. How can they find you?
So you can find me on social media. I'm on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn. You can find me under Crystal Robinson on Facebook and LinkedIn. You can find my company. It's called Crystal Moon Holistic Healing on Facebook and on LinkedIn, also on Instagram. And you can find my website at www.crystalmoonholistichealing.com. And you can email me there too.
Okay. All right. That's awesome. This was a great good time. I feel like I learned so much more today, and I thank you for being on the show.
I loved talking with you again. It was a
Yes.
pleasure. Anytime. We'll definitely have to have like more of a back and forth next time. And
Oh, for sure. All right.
I really appreciate it.
No problem. All right. So if you guys enjoyed this episode, please make sure that you leave a comment down in the bottom Let me know what you got from this. And then also you can find Crystal at Crystal Moon Holistic Healing on Facebook. Also her website is on your Facebook too, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
And then it'll also be linked down in the description below. Okay, bye.